have a video here. Look, how to get more pussy. This is Boo Boo, Meatball, the feral cat. I remember when we first got her, she bit me so hard in my hand. Look at that little face. Boo Boo, she's like, I don't consent. I don't consent to being on the video. She's a great little pussy cat. If you want to learn about women, get some feral kittens that bite you and then have them all over you. Like, if you can control a little feral pussy cat. Women and cats are so similar. It's spooky. We're gonna do some quick Q&A. We've got an interesting filter on here today, haven't we? We've got some questions here. We've got questions here. Does low fat equal hormonal problems? Bit of a paradox here, dear. So I'm just reading some things here. Does a low fat diet? No, it doesn't. I would say low fat definitely helps with hormonal issues. It depends on the person. Like, look at, in Australia, we have hormonal issues like rampant. In the UK, you know, in the rich areas of India, China, where it's more Western, we have higher fat diet intakes, higher animal product intakes. In China, you know, back in the day, it was like, even today, you go to the places where where slim people live, rural Asia, Thailand, etc. You go to the areas where the slim people live, their definition of a meal is lots of white rice, as much as they want, some salad, and a tiny bit of animal products, maybe an egg, half an egg, a little fish that they share amongst their family, like a fish maybe that big, and they each have a little bit of, like, it's like a, like a little small portion of animal protein per day. Fish sauce, shrimp paste, Their diet isn't vegan, but it's mostly vegan, it's mostly plant in terms of calories, mostly low fat. And then people get more money, they have more oil and more chocolate and more cream and dairy and more steak. And, like, steak isn't a traditional part of Asian cuisine because they need more land for rice and fruit production and sugar and stuff like that. So when these Asians and Australians and Aussies and any human increases their fats and protein intake, especially from animals, then they're going to have some more hormonal issues. That's why you see TRT rampant usage. Like, even I got no issues with people taking hormones, etc. Insulin, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, etc. But it's very, very interesting, isn't it, that these people out there like Joe Rogan, etc., have to take hormones or they crash. I don't have to take hormones if I don't. If I don't take hormones, I'm like, my performance actually goes up because I lose weight and I can climb faster. But these people like Joe Rogan that would crash, that's their own words, they would crash, on their high-fat diet if they stopped taking their testosterone every few days. Literally, Joe Rogan would be probably pinning himself every day, every few days of testosterone. I'm not saying that to like, that's, that's just how it is. And so as myself, as someone who's used anabolics, and as someone who hasn't used anabolics, I can talk from both sides of the fence. And I'm someone who's done a high-fat diet and low-fat. Low-fat is the best for your hormones, for sure. Now, what happens is you have these people out there with anorexia or eating issues, and they do a low-fat diet because they're trying to starve themselves down, and then they go to hospital with, heart failure or endocrine issues or mental health issues, and the doctor's like, what's the diet? Oh, you eat a vegan diet. We won't blame your anorexia. We won't blame your 17 or 16 BMI. We will blame, or your chronic overtraining with stimulants and Adderall and Stims and all that stuff and caffeine abuse. We won't mention that. We will just go, oh, you're a vegan. Oh, we'll write that in there. A vegan with hormonal issues. No. You got someone who's anorexic, who eats vegan to master anorexia and who has hormone issues from the anorexia. Nothing to do with the plants there, So that's why. And then you have people out there who do a high-fat diet, high-fat vegan diet even, or high-fat any diet, and they have chronic estrogen. Boob, what are you doing? This pussycat's trying to get in the show here. You want to go outside, do you? Alright, she wants to go outside. I'll just pause this for a second. I'm turning that filter off. Yeah, so, you have these people out there, like, I've helped so many people over the years with PCOS and excess estrogen, guys with, like, a lot of breast tissue, a lot of gyno from just, too high estrogen levels, etc. And that's fine, it's just cosmetic. But, they're having issues, and I find when they cut their fat intake right down, and then start losing weight, because when you got excess body fat on you, you're converting less your testosterone to estrogen. Your aromatase, enzyme is just like enhanced. And so then, and you want to have, obviously you want to have estrogen in your system. You don't have low estrogen, you'll be like feeling crap. You don't want to have super low test either. You want to have a good balance of testosterone estrogen ratio. If you've got a super high test and super low estrogen, well, that's going to be pretty rare, depends on what's going on there. You're going to feel really, really bad. You're going to have erectile issues, you're going to have you're just not going to feel the best. So you want to have good estrogen, good test, good estrogen. All right? Not want to be too crazy out of anyone's in those areas there. And I was speaking personal experience, I've done my blood tests, I've crashed my tests, I've crashed my estrogen on purpose to see how it feels. What's my performance like? What's my mood like? What's my libido like? What's my weight like? These experiments I've done on myself and other people as well. Been a trainer for 24 years, so I can speak from personal experience versus just listen to a Joe Rogan podcast and go, yeah, well, this is how it is, And it's great that people are out there, looking for answers and looking for information. So I'm not trying to trash this person. Low fat equals hormonal problems, this person said. I would totally disagree. I would say high fat guarantees hormonal issues. Now, maybe this person meant low fat as in low body fat. Yes, then they're going to be more correct. But again, low body fat, what does that mean? Are you too low body fat? You know what I mean? Like for some people, to get to my body fat level, which is like single digit year round, for them, they would struggle to do that because the only way they know to do that is calorie restriction and overtraining. And then they're going to have issues. But the issues aren't from trying to get low body fat. The issues are from the way the method they're doing that. It's a bit like if you're trying to fix a phone with a freaking monkey wrench. Like you got to use a little screwdriver, like a micro screwdriver. If you want to get low body fat, you got to do it my way. Otherwise you're on that lost highway. You're going to destroy your hormones and your mental health. You're going to feel so cranky and that. You're going to be yo-yoing, binging out and just feeling shocking. You're going to feel shocking, man. I can't imagine there's people out there cutting carbs, like trying to get lean. It's just, oh my God. No wonder a lot of people in diets have such rampant depression, suicidal thoughts. It makes me feel sad. The people out there, I'm baffled that people would starve themselves of carbohydrates to get this lean. I'm baffled. You don't have to do it, people. You need to keep your fat intake low, 20, 30 grams a day, eat as much carbs as you want. If you want to have 10 kilos of sugar a day, go and do it, which you couldn't, because after a few hundred grams of sugar, you're like, gagging. That means sugar and carbohydrate, same things pretty much. Glucose, fructose, sucrose, they're self-limiting. You can only eat so much rice in a day. You can only have so much sugar in a day. But with fats and oils and proteins, you just keep eating and eating and eating. There's no switch off. There's no switch. You just keep eating and eating and eating. You get all these excess calories, fat grams, which trigger your hormone levels in sometimes good ways, but often in bad ways. If we're talking, depends if we're talking weight, body weight here. So anyway, that's a semi-deep dive on that one. We're going to go to next question. This is from Tom the Traveller. And this was in regarding to I did a post about a recent person who was shot by police in the US. And Tom says, man, all I can say is I have a Glock 30 that goes on all backpacking trips here in the US. Hey, if I was a US citizen and I had a gun license, I would carry a Glock 30 too. I don't blame you, self-defense. Like there's a lot of undercrab ice heads out there. It's the Wild West out here, dude. And if holding a gun makes you a criminal, then take me to jail. I mean, I never said that. I'm thinking criminals who have guns to do crime, they don't deserve oxygen, in my opinion. But people out there like this guy here, he's taking a gun for self-defense and to help others feel safe. Bro, you get my thumbs up. So it's context. So I guess often people don't understand my context. I get that. I'm Australian. People often don't understand what I'm talking about. I legally own a handgun for a reason. Some should not. But this guy had no weapons. His life taken unjustly. I disagree with that. I agree with carrying a gun for self-defense. I agree with that. In Australia, you don't carry any weapons. What do you do if someone's attacking you? You got to call the police and wait half an hour. And then maybe they'll turn up, on time. But, it's in Australia. What's happening? Hey, I'm getting stabbed, I'm getting bashed. And okay, no worries. Just stay put there, mate. We'll be on our way. We'll be on our way. In the US, you can have pepper spray, you can have firearms, you can have all these things. I think the US got a better system. Much better system. But hey, again, that's going to cause a lot of debate. Criminals are going to have guns no matter what, right? Criminals are going to have guns no matter what. In Australia, who's got the guns? The police and the criminals. And the people, the good people like myself who don't have a criminal record and people out there, who aren't going to do any violence to people, what can we use to defend ourselves? Martial arts, that's about it. But not everyone's got my martial arts skill. Most people don't. And if someone comes and attacks you from behind, you can't do nothing. I got attacked by behind last year. So, it's just, what can you do? It is a crazy world out there, and a lot of people out there, are mentally unwell. They're having episodes in their life, and they might attack you and not really, and regret it and stuff like that. So it's just, I feel that in Australia we should be able to bear arms. I feel we should. If you don't have a criminal record, if you're mentally all good, blah blah blah, you don't have drug issues, then you should be able to bear arms. That's just my opinion, and I think it'd be a lot better. Florida, stand your ground laws. I think Florida's probably got some of the best rules in the world out there. But again, there's always going to be people out there who try and take advantage of it, and we can talk about that legislation for hours and hours and hours. But I just think that you should have a right for self-defense, and and you do have that, but it depends what country you live in. So I'm a fan of guns in the right setting, and I'm a fan of people being taken out in the right setting as well. Just people who are just, you just know that their life is going to be about damaging other people's lives for life. Why are they even on the planet still? I mean, that's just me. That's what I believe. And people are, you got to give people second chances. And I agree to that context, but what about all the families out there? About who are victims of these violent criminals? I think we just, anyway. Next question. I wasn't going to get too deep into that one. Some dude tried to write me off the planet back in 2013 regarding an endocrinologist. From that, my pituitary doesn't work. I've dealt with endocrinologists. It's always a lot of I don't know. Just because someone's a doctor in endo, it doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. All right. So you have to do your own homework and just use logic and, unfortunately as well, learn more about your human body and what works, what doesn't. It's hilarious. How many cycles get a low single-digit body fat? Asking for a friend. So I guess this is in reference to a picture put up the other day, which is just me, just like super low body fat. You just see the muscle separation, etc. Low body fat. What's the low body fat? You can see muscle separation. You know what I mean? It's just, you can see muscle separation. See the deltoid muscle. See the pectoral. You can see the bicep. People go, that looks like a bit of veggie chicken on there. I'm a cyclist, and I get that, but that's low body fat. Low body fat, you can see muscle separation. You can see my arms, I can see my pecs, I can see striations in my glutes, etc. Now, someone's trying to insinuate that's because of anabolic steroid usages, which I hear that, but I had all these separations and muscle tearing, etc. From zillion years ago, before I was ever using any anabolic. Look at some of my videos from 2011, etc. I started using anabolics on and off in 2014. So all you have to do is look at my voice, my face, my muscle definition back then. It was just, my voice has changed now, but the definitions have been the same. I'm just heavy. I'm about 10 kilos of more muscle, more glycogen retention, more bone, etc. I'm about 10 kilos heavier than I was, 10 years ago with the same level of body fat. So if steroids, to answer people's question, if steroids give you low body fat, how come steroid users, the bodybuilder crew, the fake natties, how come they're using thyroid meds, abusing stims to try to eat, and they're just constantly battling hunger, taking oral anabolics like Anavar, etc. to try and stave off hunger and preserve muscle, and just be like, and they're always on the edge. They're just, croak habits, and just sort of sad. I'm not here to judge and say this is bad. I'm here to judge it and saying this is sad that people are doing that. All because they think that carbs are bad and the only way to get lean is to calories in, calories out, eat less, move more. And when you're on that carousel, man, that's going down. That's going down. So this person isn't lean because they believe that the only way to be lean is to use steroids. But if that was the case, then why do the people who use the most steroids aren't even that lean? AK full-on powerlifters, strong as heck, massive dosages, 1 gram, 2 gram of anabolics a week. It's pretty crazy. And they're like they're just huge. They're mass monsters with zero definition. But their body's full of super physiological levels of anabolics and androgen compounds, you know? Why aren't they lean? Because steroids don't make you lean, right? If steroids made you lean, the people who use the most steroids would be the leanest, and they're not. If a high-fat diet made you lean, the people who eat the highest fat would be lean, but they're not. If a high-carbohydrate, low-fat diet makes you lean, which it does, and we see that every single person who eats a high-carb, super low-fat, under 20, 30 grams of fat a day, long-term is lean. Look at Dr. McDougall. I mean, the guy's like, you know, some would say he's too lean. I can understand that. But, you know, he's not on anabolics, and he's super lean. So if you know, low-fat diet, long-term. We'll go to Asia, low-fat diet, long-term. The lean people, not the people who are having the oil and go to a restaurant and eat their white rice. I said peasant food. I'm going to have steak, and look at me, I'm having a $50 steak. You know, I've made it in life. And then I go to the diabetes doctor later and go, oh, I've got diabetes, you know. And I'm like, oh, wow, really? Wonder why? It's because of all the fat you're eating. It's crazy. I mean, I have these conversations all the time in Asia. Go to restaurants and stuff, and you'll have people coming in, or cycling. You know, a lot of cyclists in Asia got a lot of money, and they're overweight. And that's fine. I'm not dissing, I'm just saying that they're overweight, and they've got these expensive bikes, and they say, oh, Durianrider, I want to get lean. How do I lose weight? How do I lose weight? And I'm like, well, eat the foods of the slim people in Malaysia, in Thailand, etc. What are the slim people? Oh, they eat rice. What colour rice? They eat white rice. Yeah. They have much sugar? Yeah, they have a lot of sugar. How much fat? Not much meat. Cannot afford. Cannot afford. Milk? No, cannot afford. Most don't have a fridge. And I'm like, eat like them then, and you'll look like them. Oh, but doesn't sugar make you fat? I'm like, you just told me it doesn't. And you know it doesn't. Fat makes you fat. Yeah? And they're like, oh, okay. You know? And these people are smart. They're lawyers, they're accountants, they're doctors, they're pilots. These guys fly for Thai Airways, and I'm just like, how you don't get that? The fat you eat, the fat you wear. The leanest people in Thailand, white rice, Cokes, sugars, Sprite, the real Sprite, fruit, you know, very, very low fat intake. People with the highest fat in Asia, high fat diet. The fat you eat, the fat you wear. The fat you don't eat, the fat you don't wear. It's for some people, it's just like, but it's the solution's so simple. People are shocked at the answer. People are shocked at the answer. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Another question about the SL7. What about the wind tunnel results from the SL7? This is a Specialized Tarmac SL7, the most expensive bike Specialized ever put out there in the road world. The wind tunnel tests. It's claiming this bike's more. Do Specialized claim this bike's more like aero than what? I wouldn't believe a word Specialized say, or any big manufacturer in 2021. Right? This is marketing. It's marketing. Maybe the frame's more aero, but then you've got these disc brake things. They're not more aero. Disc brakes are not more aero. You've got more spokes in the wheel. You've got the little rotors. That's not more aero, especially in the crosswind. It ain't more aero. So maybe the top tube's more aero. But who cares? Because now you're adding the extra spokes and the disc rotors. So that's not more aero. So it's like, oh man, people will believe anything these marketing people say. I mean, look at Apple. You know, look at Apple or Nike or whatever. Some of the marketing BS out there is crazy. It's crazy. So for me, this is the worst tarmac of all time. I would prefer a 2004 model than this. And let's say we're going to do a race, and there was a 2004 model tarmac, and I could, you know, there was some SRAM red on there and some 1200 gram wheels. I would swap it in a jiffy. I would swap this for a $500 tarmac in a race situation. Obviously in resale, it's going to be worth more, but let's say we had to do a race. I'm like, you can have mine, and I'll have your 2004 tarmac or 2007 tarmac. And this will be fun. This will be slower, 100%. No question. No question. Disc brake on the road. Great for gravel, good for dirt, not for road. Let's go. Alright, we got a what we got? We've got a lot of talking about the gun stuff. I think we covered that pretty well. Yeah, let's talk about sugar. Sugar, someone asked me the other day in the coaching group, with the ads refined sugar, sucrose, which is found in fruit, found in sweet potatoes, found in carrots, lentils, peas, corn. If this lad adds in sugar, table sugar, to his food, he says his sweat smell. I think I got that right. His sweat smells, and he grinds his teeth at night. Now that is literally impossible if you're adding sucrose to your fruit. Nothing else is changing in your diet. You're not adding in more protein, more nuts or broccoli or tofu or whatever, pea protein powder or whatever you're eating. That's impossible for sucrose to make you have more armpit fragrance. That's impossible. Like how? There's zero protein. The smell from your armpits comes from the amino acids. Just try that experiment. Have some broccoli, have some tofu. If you're eating meat or whatever, you can smell it. I've done a fruit diet where I've just had just fruit and had zero body odor. Because it's so low in protein. The more protein you eat, the amino acids, the more smell you have from your pits, every orifice of your body. You have more fragrance. Good or bad, whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking that's just how it is. So adding in more sugar, that's impossible. You must have added something else in there and you're blaming the sugar. Sugar always gets the blame. If this house collapses, it's because it had sugar in the cupboard. If you get a flat tire, because it had sugar in the water bottle. You know what I mean? If you crack a tooth or something happens, it's sugar's problem. It's nothing else. Sugar, any problem you have in the world, sugar's a problem. Got teeth decay? That's because you had sugar. Wasn't because of the phosphoric acid in the Coca-Cola. It wasn't because you don't floss your teeth. It wasn't because you're doing meth and you got a dry mouth. It wasn't because you don't brush your teeth. It wasn't because you don't have a bottle of water next to your bed and at night time when your mouth's dry, you have a drink. You just let your mouth get dry and wonder why you get cavities. No. It's sugar. Alright? Spoon is clean. Sugar. Got diabetes? Sugar. Obese? Sugar. Cancer? Sugar. Rheumatoid arthritis? Got to be sugar. Brain fog? Got to be sugar. Any problem you have, sugar is the cause. Simple as that. Addicted to food? Sugar. It's crazy. Meanwhile, fat? Nah. Good fats though. Good fats. Healthy fats. Brain's made of fat. No. The body makes fat. The body makes its own cholesterol in the brain. Alright? The dietary fat doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. You're making that fat, saturated fat, from carbohydrate that you eat. So your brain's making that cholesterol. You're making that cholesterol and saturated fat in your brain. And so it's just crazy. Whatever happens, sugar is the culprit. This person's grinding their teeth. Now I'm saying this, I might come across as a bit arrogant and nasty. I'm not trying not to do that. I understand I might come across that way. But I'm trying to be sincere here. Maybe a little bit of frustration in my voice. This old person also said that he grinds his teeth at night time because of sugar. If he doesn't have sugar, he doesn't grind his teeth. He grinds his teeth. That can be, that's plausible. That's plausible. What's grinding the teeth at night? They call it bruxism. B-U-R-X-I-S-M, bruxism. And people wear night guards for it. It's nothing to do with sugar. I would say it's more to do with stress. So if you're having your sugar in your food, now a lot of people, you put sugar in their food, or you put sugar on the table, or do you want some sugar in your cup? They're, whoa. Like, no food out there stresses people out in 2021 like sugar. Right? Nothing gets people, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? You put olive oil on your food, healthy fats, oh wow, really good. You put sugar in your food, people are like losing their chops, man. What? People drinking cans of no sugar Coke thinking it's healthy. I've got phosphoric acid. I've got all these benzopyrenes and all these amines and stuff in my Coca-Cola and phosphoric acid and all this stuff. But it's healthy because I don't have sugar in it. It's so far out. It's crazy. You got people out there drinking no sugar Coke. No sugar Coke. They're having a caffeine hit. Caffeine's neurotoxic. They're having that and there's no sugar in there as well. They went on, their cortisol's just going up. Caffeine, cortisol's going up. With lack of sugar, it's going to stay up even higher and you got to feel, and then you have more metabolic rebound. It's crazy. Diet drink's the worst thing ever. Not the worst thing ever, but one of the worst things ever. Oils, fat's the worst thing ever for your weight. But maybe you need to gain weight, so you need to eat more fat. That's fair enough, But yeah, this person, bruxism, that's possible, but it's not the sugar. That's your mental thoughts with that, That's your mental thoughts going, oh, I've had sugar today. Sugar's bad. Oh, sugar. I used to think sugar was bad. I used to think sugar was bad back in 2001. Refined sugar's bad, but fruit's okay. And I mean, the first time I heard that, I was thinking, it doesn't make sense. But I'll go with it, because the person who told me that, you know, is like someone I admired. But that person also used a lot of stimulants. You know? A lot of stims. That's why they're like, and so looking back, I was like, you know, the reason why they use so much stims is because they were having so little sugar. Right? So I do recommend the sugar. Add it to your fruit smoothies, add it to your rice, add it. And if you notice an enhancement in your life, keep it up. If you're like, nah, don't like it, then take it out. But don't take it out because you're still on TV. Don't take it out because you can't handle social disapproval. Take it out because you're like, I'm not feeling this enhances my life, which is going to be a very rare person. You maybe got access to insane quality fruit where it's just so sucrose rich. You're like, man, or you're getting those Japanese sweet potatoes. Have you ever had those? They are insane. They are like, wow. The sugar spike you get from them, because it's a whole food. It's a baked potato, sweet potato. The glycemic index is like way higher than table sugar. It's like probably like 100. And table sugar is about 65. So you have these baked potatoes. They're just in game changers. And you don't want sugar after them. You know, you couldn't handle it. You'd be like, I don't need it. I don't need it. It's like going into a sauna, you know, and turning up to like 500 Fahrenheit. Like, what? You know, it's hot enough. The sweet potatoes are just super sweet. Just thinking about those sweet potatoes, like, wow, they were so good. But it's a whole food. It's a whole food, and it gives you a bigger sugar spike than refined white table sugar, which is fine, you know. Sugar spike doesn't mean anything. It's the fasting blood sugars that are elevated from insulin resistance, which is caused by excess dietary fat. Excess dietary fat. Simple as that. Get a glucose monitor, people. Test your blood sugars. Put all this to the test, and then you'll know, wow, Durianrider's talking truth. There's people out there who did most of sugar talking absolute nonsense. Alright, that's the deal there. Alright, it's alright. I think that's about it. Yeah, we've got the Tom Pidcock, Wout van Aert. You know, if Natasha's back. Wout van Aert. I think that's going to be a separate video. Let's do that one. That's, yeah, Tom Pidcock. First year pro rider, World Tour. Isn't he first year World Tour? And coming second in Amsterdam Gold against Wout van Aert on a heavy disc brake bike. That's a pretty impressive effort. Again, imagine if Wout van Aert had the lightweight bike that Tom had. Game changer. We'll do a separate video on that one. Anyway, more questions, hit me up down below.